everyone here. I think we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Natchez to order. I'll ask everyone to please stand, and it is good to see everyone. At this time, we're going to have a word of prayer. If you would, just bow with me. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. Father, our hearts are heavy for those who are suffering this evening from loss in our own community, loss in Rolling Fork, Amory, Silver City, other areas of our state. Father, the family of Ethel Banta, the family of others here in Natchez. And Father, we just ask you to put your arms of comfort around all of these. And Father, we thank you for your continued hand of protection over Natchez. Father, let us be a city that reaches out to help others. And we just thank you for that spirit of community and philanthropy and love that's here in our city. Father, now as we come to this meeting, we ask that you would be with us, that you would guide our discussion, that you would guide our decisions. And Father, your hand of blessing would be on every person serving this city. These officials, our department heads, our employees, our first responders, and Father, all of those in our community who sacrifice so much. And now, Father, we just give you the glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let us now together salute our flag and offer our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Will ask the clerk to administer the roll call.
Okay. Alderwoman Hall. Here. Alderman Frazier.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderwoman Irving. Alderwoman Irving. Alderman Davis.
She's in attendance at the National League of Cities. Okay.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Dillard.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all are present and accounted for with the exception of Alderwoman Irving.
Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to recognize in the chamber this evening County Supervisor Ricky Gray, who is also a former city alderman for the city of Natchez. And Supervisor Gray, it's always a pleasure to see you and welcome you here tonight. We have minutes. We're going to just go right through the agenda. I think we only have one set of minutes to approve. Madam Clerk.
That's correct. Requesting approval for the minutes of the special call meeting held on February 22nd.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
Anyone opposed to the call? We'll then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item is our, I see that we have. Yeah, I think that if you'll forgive, it looks like we have erroneously put public hearing on the agenda. We do not have a public hearing this evening. We do want to welcome a visitor here who is no stranger to us, Jarita Frazier King. Jarita is here with Southwest Wellness Associates of Mississippi and Pretty Girls with Brains. And Ms. Bell, it's good to see you, Ms. Betty Bell. And so we are recognizing you for 5 minutes, and it's always good to see you, Ms. King. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Aldermen. Thank you for having us this evening. I am Jarita Frazier King. Wear a couple of hats in the community, but we're here today. I'm with Southwest Wellness Association of Mississippi, and thank you again for being a community partners with us for our Soul Food Fusion Festival, which we will be moving to September. And this is Miss Betty Bell, who is one of the board members with Pretty Girls with Brains, and she's here representing Ms. Ashley Murray in her absence, who is the CEO of that organization. You have before you a proposal that we went to the school board to speak to them about the usage of Fraser, the facility there. And we would like to go into that facility and use that facility and make good use of the entire facility to do programming that will give people job skills training, that will give people basic life skills training as well too. As you know, statistics show that students are lacking in those basic life skills, such as things of cooking, such as things of knowing how to sew, even how to wash clothes properly. We have teachers who say students come to school with clothes that are not clean. We will also offer a variety of programming there in the facility, and we're going to go back next month to do a more formal presentation. But we would like to ask the city support right now in the letter of form of a letter of support for this project. We will also like to, at some point later on, get the city support financially as well too. That building upkeep is about $3,000 a month and utilities, but this will be open to the entire city of Natchez. We know that Ms. Williams is already working hard on programming for workforce, but we have to use what we have, and we have expertise right here in the community. So even though we may not have the funding and different things right now, we can use some of our citizens to go on and get those things going, because charity starts at home. So we want to be good stewards and go on and help our students. We want to work with disengaged youth, reentry adults, as well as young women, which is one of the missions of Pretty Girls with Brains. And they're already doing leaps and bounds with young women in the community. You can see some of our objectives here, and we want to make it an extended education and cultural center. We want to focus on as well hospitality and tourism, and working with the industry that we have here. And we would like to serve as a place where people can be trained, and some of our local businesses that are in need of aid and assistance, we could send some of those kids that may be in youth court, or people who may be in the drug court. We want to work with them as well to be able to aid and assist them, and maybe they can help work off some of their fines and fees, and they will be paid if they're employed with people. Also, too, here, the usage of the space. There's a lot of different things that we have proposed to the school. And like I said, it's in a bigger formal presentation. I'm not going to hold you with all of that today. But entrepreneurship is very important in this community. As you know, this was the year of small businesses. So we want to be able to help people thrive. We've also talked with Hope Credit Union about doing their first time homeowners program here, which would be huge, considering that we have a lot of homes that could use some care and occupants in them. We think that this program will also help people to not only have employment in the community, it will help to generate some tax revenue. We do have the classrooms over there that we would like to use for rental spaces, for offices, for people who are just getting their feet wet. And we want to make them to have businesses still here in the community. Of course, there is a kitchen in there, my favorite part. We will be offering a space for people who are doing, businesses from their home. We want to invite them to come in to have like a community kitchen space where they could prepare things, and then that will also be more businesses created. We want the movies to come back. If they come back, then we'll have people that'll be trained that can work in craft services and the catering businesses. As Miss Kate is working, she gets contracts, I get contracts, and we can just, fill those voids. So we want to come to say, let us help the city to be able to fill some of the voids. We want to help the school to be able to fill some of the voids, because again, charity starts at home. And as you know, in Ecclesiastes, they say planting the seeds and don't let it be idle. So we're hoping that Natchez can help us plant this seed here in the community. And I'll yield to Ms. Bill if she would like to say something, or if you all have any questions about what we are wanting to do.
Ms. Bell, we're right at 5 minutes, but if you could just
We're right at 5 minutes. I won't go over what has been given to us. I would just like for you all to look at the type of projects that we'd be interested in doing. It says here job training and career advance, entrepreneur classes, culinary classes, community garden, counseling, wellness and nutrition, electrical and plumbing. Please put a little star by those two. We need plumbers in our areas, and we need electrician in our areas, and we would like to work with young people to give them those, prepare them with those skills. And then it says carpentry. Now this summer, we'll be offering our STEM classes to students of STEM camp. And the rest of it you can read for yourself. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
so
you
much,
for your
Ms.
time.
Brown. Thank you. It's a very,
Mr.
very
Mayor.
good proposal. Alderman Frazier, yes, sir.
May I, since that's in my ward, I would just simply like to say that, if they are trying to get the county involved in this, am I correct too? You're reaching out to everybody with partnership in the school board, the county, okay. I would just like to say, we have a perfectly, good facility over there that we can utilize, being as though, at one time, well, not at one time, you said that, you would like to bring something to that side, a school or some kind of business. I think that is, as I say, a perfectly good example where we can use and utilize, just that, not letting that school sit there and fall out. I think these ladies have a great idea, and if possible, I would like to make a request. If we can get everyone on board, I would like to make a request that after they get everyone on the board, that the city would partner with them, try to help them get this off the ground. As I stated earlier, that was one of your strong campaign promise of getting something over there in the school or something. And it's a great idea. It can benefit not just one section of town, it can benefit everybody in town. That is what we need. We need community to come together as one, and we can have a great school in that area. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier. We are already in a cooperative agreement with the county and
Exactly.
the school board on workforce development. I would love to see Ms. Williams get involved in this and get her input, because obviously we want to all pull together in the same direction with the same mission and goals in mind. I just admire your passion and a great presentation. Let's have a meeting very soon to get into the nuts and bolts of this, so that we can learn more about it, and we'll work toward having that happen very soon. Thank you, Ms. King. Anything else to share? All right. Well, and Alderman Frazier will certainly be looking into this. Thank you very much for your comments. We now have some city business to take care of. Mr. Arden Barnett is not here in person. He had a scheduling problem, and so he asked me to make this announcement for him. And so we're very excited about this. The Natchez Spring Carnival will be held here May 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. It will be the largest carnival in this area this year. That is how they're promoting it. This will be taking the place of Mudbug this year. This will be our major May event. This is an event that is being organized so that it's not just for adults who want to come and party on the bluff at Mudbug, but this is going to open more of a community-wide family activity that I think everyone will enjoy. Thursday and Sunday at the carnival will be admission free, free to everyone in the community. Friday and Saturday evening and night will have a $10 admission charge. So they found a way to do this where it involves the whole community, and some activities Thursday, Sunday that are free, and then a very modest admission costs on the Friday and Saturday. So we've already got this scheduled on the books, and more information will be coming out soon. While I'm on the subject of Arden Barnett, we had a good discussion today, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. It's under my report, but we'll go ahead and bring it up so you know right now. Arden Barnett also wants to bring a rodeo to Natchez for July 4th. and would like to have it on the bluff. We are in discussions now on how to do this. We are discussing potentially bringing in dirt and having it on the parking lot, and working with the owners of the parking lot to help sponsor this rodeo. We will be having a meeting tomorrow with Mr. Barnett. It's going to be a phone call, but we will be going through all the strategies of how to do this. And this would provide a fantastic July 4th event to be followed by fireworks, and also include some good music and fun for, again, all of our families. So there will be more information coming forward at some point. Hopefully by the next meeting, we may have something that the board can approve to make the rodeo possible. It is the season for rodeos. I understand there is a rodeo coming just in a few weeks here to the county fairgrounds. So we look forward to that, and just some great things happening in Natchez. Speaking of great things, Mr. Harris is here. Before I introduce you, I do want to make a shout out to everyone who was here for the powwow on the bluff this weekend. And I want to thank Alderwoman Hall for representing me, representing the city while I was in DC. It was a very successful event, I'm told, and enough can't be said, for the organizer of that event, Dr. Chuck Borum. Dr. Borum has done so much over the years to make this event a success, and so we just want Dr. Borum to know we appreciate him. So that's the perfect introduction now for Mr. Lance Harris, and we are grateful you're here. Mr. Harris, you do so much for us at the Grand Village, and now we're recognizing you for a presentation that we need to make involving some city business.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Gibson, and good evening to you and Board of Aldermen. I want to also thank you for allowing me some time to give you a quick update on the Grand Village of the Natchez Indians, and also to make a request. Before I do that, though, I'd like to provide you just a little bit of background. Just so you know, the Mississippi Department of Archives and History acquired the majority of the Grand Village property in 1970 and 1971, and began planning shortly after that for a historic park to open to the public. The initial plans in the early 1970s called for 3 public-facing structures, but due to financial constraints, the construction was limited to the single building that you see today that serves as the visitor center. That building is under 4,000 square feet, and it really doesn't serve all the purposes that we need it to serve. The site began operations on September 1st, 1976, so we're creeping up on our 50th anniversary. One thing you should know is that prior to the land acquisition by the state, the International Paper Company acquired a railroad right-of-way in 1949 that essentially bisects the Grand Village site. The city of Natchez acquired the same right-of-way in 1986. In 2022, Mississippi Department of Archives and History received a significant appropriation for improvements to our sites in Adams County here in Mississippi. Towards that end, we have begun working with Burris and Wagner Architects in Jackson, who are also in association with Salmon Architects, and I want to recognize Amelia Salmon, who's here with us this evening as well, too. These architects that we've hired are essentially helping us to develop a site plan for the site, as well as to design new structures for the site. And in short, we aim to add up to 2 public-facing structures to the site, as well as new interpretation throughout. We believe that using the land on which the city holds as right-of-way will be crucial to our future success. And as such, we're asking the city to essentially provide it to the state of Mississippi, to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History for use in our Grand Village improvement projects. And we're also asking for additional property at the end of Jeff Davis Boulevard. If you look at this map, here you see the pink area that's towards the top of the map. It essentially goes from the intersection of Mansfield and Jeff Davis Boulevard to the end of the turnaround, which is the entrance to the Grand Village in its current state. We anticipate utilizing that piece of property for parking potentially in our future developments. But again, we also feel that we need to be able to utilize the land on that right of way that the city owns for our future improvements at the site. And as such, that's the request that's being made by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History.
Right.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Harris, thank you. Alderman Frazier?
I'm kind of like confused. Is this, I know about 2 years ago, 2-3, didn't the city donate some property right away to the Grand Village?
No, sir, that was not finalized. We had begun talking about this a couple of years
That was a couple
back.
years ago. So this is the same,
Yes,
this
sir.
is the same plan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
I think we need a motion.
no, I'm not through.
I'm
I'm
allowing,
talking.
it's a presentation, so I'm allowing some questions, because I'm not sure what motion we will entertain.
I'm
For
asking
now, I'm
questions.
gonna allow some questions.
So this is the, like I say, so we didn't go through with this at all from the last 2-3 years. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir, that's correct. This has not been finalized. A formal transfer of this right of way from the city of Natchez to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History has not occurred.
Okay. I'm kind of straining because I can't see it. It's not, it's kind of like on here, I'm still trying to strain, look at it. And this is going from, it's not coming to the old Sergeant Prentice. It's not coming out that far. Is
No, sir. The right
Prentice Highway.
of way goes from St. Catherine's Creek to Melrose Montebello Drive, and it essentially bisects the property that the Grand Village operates as the historic site.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you,
You're
thank you. Any further questions? And then it will be up to this board whether they want to make a motion, whether they want to defer to, the attorney. I'm going to recognize the attorney.
As for the presentation, not by way of discussion, there are two resolutions before the board. One is to adopt the resolution which abandons this right of way and gives this to the Department of Archives and History. And that right of way, as he said, runs from St. Catherine's Creek by the Indian Mounds. It actually runs through the property. There's nothing constructed there, all the way over to Melrose. It was a bike trail growing up. There's no development on there other than maybe somebody had put a garden on one. And the other part is the end of Jeff Davis, that's the second resolution to abandon that part of Jeff Davis, which is in purple as I see it. I may be seeing a different color from this angle. And it is the end of Jeff Davis, which makes a loop and is the entrance to it only services
The Grand Village site.
So there's two resolutions, and if the board sees fit, it would be a motion to adopt the first resolution and then a motion to adopt the second resolution.
All right. Okay, if the board, yes,
To adopt the first resolution.
which is the one that is abandoning a portion of,
Surplus property.
which one is considered the first? Because
I'll refer to the city attorney on that.
the declaration of surplus property.
The resolution of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Natchez declaring surplus property would be abandoned in the right of way.
Okay, all right, a motion has been made by Alderwoman Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion on the motion. I would say that it benefits the Grand Village. It also reduces what the city is holding and having to ultimately maintain. It sounds like a win-win to me.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I think
Alderwoman
it
Hall.
also benefits the Department of Archives and History along with Grand Village to preserve that site and to do what they need to do with their expansion.
It most certainly does. I'll call for the question.
Call.
Second.
Okay, the question's been called. Any opposed to the call? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. We will have a roll call vote. Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Smith.
Alderwoman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Dillard.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, is there another motion to be made?
I'll make the motion to, for the resolution of the mayor and board of aldermen for the abandonment portion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Dillard.
I'm just curious if we talk with our, I want to say our public works director or anything to do with traffic control on that end of that Jeff Davis Boulevard.
Yes, Alderwoman
If you
Smith.
still, the only thing people do is kind of go around there and they're not sure where they're going. They usually see that either going to the Indian Village or they're making a loop around, but you can still make the loop right at Mansfield. You can make the turn there. So it's basically, there's two U-turn options. One is at Mansfield and then the other's right in front of.
Well, I feel the public works director would agree. I
He
just
would.
thought
We
that,
talked about it years ago and just now we're at the point where we need to do it.
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Further discussion?
That's basically a wooded area at the end, right? That turnaround.
This area is not wooded here.
But I'm saying, it's kind of like growed up grass
At the very
No,
end.
it's maintained.
by the city. Okay.
But it definitely ends right there at the end. The only purpose is arrival and departure from the Grand Village. So again, it's a clear win-win, less for us to upkeep and definitely assist with your expansion plans. I'll call for the question. Question's been called. Any opposed to the call? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier. Alderwoman Smith.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Dillard.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. We certainly appreciate it, and we look forward to sharing more of our plans with you in the future and some great developments at the Grand Village of the Natchez
Thank you.
Indians.
Thank you for all that you do, Mr. Harris. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And it's so good to see Ms. Salmon here. Thank you. And please tell Gibson hello. And Ben. Can't forget Ben. Next item. Mr. Tipton, don't know that he's here, but we have the documents. I believe the documents have been provided. I don't see them in the packet. I know he emailed them to us. Do you see those? We're going to go on to the next item. Maybe see if we can make sure we locate these two because they're wanting to replace that commercial oven. I think
He
he,
gave those to us at the last meeting.
yes, okay. We'll come back to that. Also then under city business, approval of tennis contract. I'm going to recognize
Mayor?
Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, I'd like to move that the board approve D.F. Spence LLC to manage the tennis center and to authorize the mayor to execute the contract.
Okay.
Second.
A motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion.
Yes.
Alderman Frazier.
Have we terminated the other contract with the other parties involved?
Mr. Attorney.
Terminates March 31st and both parties have mutually agreed to terminate that contract.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Frazier. Further discussion? Further discussion? We'll call for the question. Question's been called. Are all, any opposed to the call? In that case, we will go to a vote. Do we need a roll call on this? Or, no, I think a voice vote is sufficient.
Yeah.
All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much. He said to skip it. Would you get message to Richard Burke? Thank you, because he's probably looking for it. Okay, we will hold for next meeting. The department director reports, Mr. Johnston. Do we have any county business? Okay. Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Department Director's reports. Mr. Johnson, you're recognized.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
I presented you with a draft report this past, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. It is the same item, but just a little extra wording since these are ARPA monies involved. Morgantown Road Drainage and Reconstruction Project Phase 2, MDEQ, Municipality and County Water Improvement Program, and City of Natchez ARPA monies. Staff in conversation with consulting engineer IMS Engineering is requesting a motion to advertise for a general contractor for this drainage and reconstruction project. Funds to be utilized for this project are from the MDEQ, Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality, Municipality and County Water Infrastructure Grant Program of 2022, Mississippi Senate Bill 2822 provided by the state of Mississippi pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Matching funds are provided by the City of Natchez and Adams County Board of Supervisors through the American Rescue Plan Act from the Department of Treasury, and also referred to as the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I'm
moved.
recognizing
Oh.
Alderman Davis for
Go
the
ahead.
motion.
Second.
Seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Alderman Frazier.
Oh, I was just finna make the motion that, we accept Morgantown.
Oh, goodness. Well, I could recognize you as a second. I know Alderman Davis has been biting at the bits for this.
I would just like to say,
Alderman Frazier, yes, sir.
I would just like to simply say that, to the citizens of the county and the city, that we are finally in full phase ahead on this project. It's something overdue. I see we have Supervisor Gray in there here to it. And I can honestly, God, say that we're finna get Morgantown Road on track for the citizens of Adams County. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you. Alderwoman Hall.
I would like to thank our lobbyists who have a great deal of, who are well-deserved. Thank you for advocating for this project, because without them, we will not have this done.
Yes, that is right. We are very grateful for a federal earmark that was established through our congressional delegation last year for $2.4 million. And that is great. I also want to thank Governor Tate Reeves, Speaker Philip Gunn, and Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann, especially Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann, because he in a very determined fashion sought approval for us to have the 1 million that was necessary, just shy of 1 million necessary through the state ARPA funds to make this project possible. And then Supervisor Gray, I want to thank you, because when I first became mayor, we started working on this. You were president of the Board of Supervisors. We went together to meet at the Mississippi Department of Transportation, and neither one of us gave up. And it's happened. And I was very pleased to be in Jackson last Monday evening and visit with the gentlemen of IMS, and they told me we were right on task, and they are. And I know IMS, the engineering firm, is doing a great job. We're excited to be working with them. Anything else to be said?
Question?
Question has been called. Any opposed to the question? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Give a hand. We are bidding Morgantown Road. I'm looking forward to a groundbreaking, Supervisor.
Me too. I know I am.
Alderman Davis, I mentioned you when you made the motion, but this is in your ward and you've been working so hard with us.
Yep.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
I have one more item. It was
We
a late.
thank you for all your work. Okay.
I
One
still
more
have
item.
one more item. It was a late request from Public Works and Natchez Water Works, 1-year general supply bids effective April 1st of this year through March 30th of 2024. Staff is requesting a motion to accept the recently received general supply bids for the period beginning again April 1st and ending March 30th, 2024, except for the following items, which are good for 6 months. Street cut, utility trench patching, lay down of mixed asphalt, hot mix asphalt, street striping, ready mix concrete, and flowable fill.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we accept that request from Mr. Johnson, in reference to the Natchez Water Works,
And Public Works.
Public Works.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Alderman Frazier has made the motion, seconded by Alderman Davis.
Dillard.
I'm sorry, Alderman
I'm
Dillard.
shocked too.
My ears are still a little
Mine
stopped up
too.
from the airplane. Thank you, Alderman Dillard.
You passed me with a flat yesterday. I have.
Discussion? We'll call for the question.
Second.
Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion
Got
carries.
some copies here.
Thank you. Mr. Johnston, also, I want to just add a comment during your report. I want to let everyone know, we have been working behind the scenes to establish another strategy with regard to our pavement project. Good to have y'all with us tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before they leave, I would like to recognize Mr. Jamal McCullen and his students who are here with him tonight as a service project to observe a Board of
I didn't
Aldermen
realize this was
meeting.
a service project. I saw Mr. McCullough out there.
I didn't want them to leave without recognizing them.
Well, we are honored to have you here. Yes. Mr. McCullough, you do so much, and I love coming to your class. Would you recognize, introduce the students, the purpose of them being here?
You're welcome, Mr. McCullen.
Yes. If you would come to the microphone.
No, we need to go to the mic so it may be recorded.
People are listening online.
Thank you, Alderman Hall, Mayor Gibson, Board of Alderpersons. With all due respect, these young men can speak for themselves, so I'll defer to them.
Oh, that's great. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Come to the mic and introduce.
One
You
at
want
a
to come to
time.
the mic? Thanks.
They know who they are and what they're doing.
Good evening to all. We are the Omega Pathfinders, and my name is Ashton Williams.
My name Cameron Shaw.
My name is Tyler Lyons.
My name is Ryan Smith.
We have a few more members, but they aren't in attendance today. But yeah, this is a program put together by Mr. McCullen and a few of the other Qs in our community, and they're almost like a mentorship program. He then helped us speak to other political leaders, and like we even put on a Black History play where we showed light to the Deacons for Defense earlier in February, and we just a mentorship program and for inspiring youth like us who want to go into Qs as well as just anybody else who wants to be involved.
Thank you very much.
That's wonderful.
Mr. McCollum is one of our excellent educators at Susie B. West School.
Mr. McCullen has such a passion for this, and Mr. McCullen, thank you for what you're doing in our community. Young men, you are the leaders of the future. And we thank
Absolutely.
you for being here.
Thank y'all so much.
Yes, all
That Mr. Smith, young Mr. Smith there, his dad was the former public works director, and his dad is also the principal out at Robert Lewis out at the high school.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, good. Well,
Especially he's my in-laws too.
oh, it's great to have all of you here. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you all in the hall, making sure we recognize them. I wanted to make this comment while Mr. Johnson's here. We, as you know, had to reject the bid for the road improvement project because the bid just came too high. Since then, we've been looking at other strategies, and today had a very good conversation with Mr. Nate Killingsworth, who is the CEO of APAC Mississippi. Mr. Killingsworth is actually going to be in Natchez in the next few days. We're going to have a face-to-face visit. We're going to look at ways in which we can restructure the bid in order to make the bid more affordable, but still accomplish the goal of paving as many streets as possible. We also are looking at a possible change in the bidding strategy that would provide for the local provider, APAC, to provide the asphalt at the bid prices, which are prices we just accepted on a per ton basis, and then have an actual bid for the services portion of this for a contractor to come in and actually lay the asphalt, perform the milling and the other services needed. And that would provide for a partnership, APAC being the supplier and a general contractor then being engaged to actually apply the material. We are not by any means going to give up on our bond project for our streets, and I hope that we will have a strategy ready by our next board meeting. So I just wanted to let everyone know that next strategy will likely be a revised bid that we will put out, and then sometime in early May, getting that bid back and then proceeding, hopefully, with awarding a contract and moving forward with the project. So that's where we are. We'll now, thank you, Mr. Johnson. We'll now recognize our police chief, Cal Green, for one item. And Chief Green, is good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too, Mayor, Board. I just have the one item. When Lieutenant Sean King retired last year, generally upon retirement, we give our officers the opportunity to purchase their duty weapon, and this was overlooked, so I'm bringing it now, asking that it be approved that the weapon be removed from our inventory and he be allowed to purchase it for the requisite $35 that we generally charge.
I'd like to make a motion that Mr. King receive his duty weapon.
Second.
Alderman Frazier's made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Smith.
At a price that's price set by y'all, what was just given it?
The $35 is what they told me that it was when I first came, so I just took it that was the standard price that we charge.
Well, we said it. One time it just was, they gave it to him, but it's decided $35. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
The question's been called. All right. Any opposed to the question? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. King served our city for many years and at a time as an interim chief.
Yes.
And we wish him well, and thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. City official reports, Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to give an update on recreation, and this is part of Ms. Cole's report that I'm sharing for her tonight. And I'm very proud to say that Ms. Cole has been selected by the National Parks and Recreation Association to be featured in its National Parks and Recreation magazine. This article will read about our department's efforts to increase equity in our community through parks and recreation and building parks and recreation in Natchez. So a well-deserved
That's wonderful.
award for Ms. Cole. Also, she wanted everyone to know that the father, son, and mother dances were both beautiful events and well-attended. We are grateful to Magnolia Bluffs Casino, Merit Health, and Little Mama's Cookie Shack for their contributions for these events. The accessible egg hunt in partnership with Key Rehab was a success this past Saturday. And this was their third year doing it, but with our participation and partnership, they said this was the best turnout they've ever had. And we're grateful to continue our partnership with Key Rehab for our students with disabilities. And I'm proud to say that our special needs accessible equipment was well used this past Saturday at Duncan Park. The swings as well as the other playground equipment. So those children will really enjoy themselves along with their parents. Our upcoming events are the Senior Citizens Tea Dance, which is open and free to all senior citizens this Saturday, April 1st, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at our community center, also known as our Civic Center. And the community Easter egg hunt will be April the 8th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. on the bluff. She also wanted to give a sports update. And I think this is validating what I was saying a couple of meetings ago about Parks and Recreation. It's not just about sports. It's about all events and programming. I'm going to read what Ms. Cole said, if you will allow me to do that. To have sports programming, there needs to be a budget for the equipment that's needed. And we are going to be inventorying a lot of equipment this week. We do have equipment, and we have uncovered where that equipment is. So I'm proud to say that. The community needs to be on board for active, supportive role. We need parents to participate in these activities and sporting events that we will be having. We need them to be actively participating as coaches, scorekeepers, referees, but also to be committed to that. We will still have volleyball camps. We're proud to say we had one with Mr. McCullen and his volleyball team last year. We will continue to do that. Basketball camps and after-school programming. So we are well committed to this, and we know schools have their own AYA programs, but we also want them to participate in our community programming sports. She has been in active communication with the American Youth Soccer Organization to see if we can possibly start a summer program here in Natchez. This is ongoing with them. And again, we still need active parental participation in all of our activities. So I want to thank the community for all your support for Ms. Cole and the Parks and Recreation Department, and we will continue to reach out to our community for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
And I want to thank Dr. Borum for his 35th year putting on this powwow. We know there may be some controversy with the different tribes that come in for this event. It's a very spiritual event for them, and they are very grateful for the number of years that Dr. Borum has been supporting this event. So I want to thank them for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Alderman Frazier, your report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First foremost, I'd like to thank the fire chief and the police chief on the excellent job that they did in Hope Farm fire that happened this week. It was unfortunate. There was a life lost in that fire, but I think they did an excellent job, especially traffic control and the fire department too. So thank you, Chief, both chiefs. Thank you very much. Second, I would like to request from the police chief, while the officers on patrol, night patrol, I have a lot of poles. I'm compiling a list of all the pole lights that are out in my ward. With your officers in their spare time, could they write down those pole numbers, get a pole number and see exactly how many poles? Because Old Washington Road itself is like it's just completely dark.
Okay.
So I like to, if they're not, just have them check the poles, and I'll be checking them. So I'm gonna give a list out too.
Okay.
And I want to, Mr. Mayor, so that's the end of my report.
Alderman Frazier, thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a
Yes,
suggestion,
Alderwoman
Alderman Frazier? I often call Jody Rutter when poles are out in my ward, and he will contact Energy.
I got Sarah gave me the number. She gave me the number to I'm gonna to the director. I'm gonna correct Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the number. I called.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Alderwoman Smith.
Well, I want to just reiterate what Alderman Frazier said, and he stole my thunder, and I know we both stole Ben's thunder because y'all commend you all. What an excellent job.
Yeah.
And I know we had one minor injury that was scary, but it turned out okay. And thankfully, but y'all put your lives on the line all the time, and we appreciate y'all. Both all of you, all, and all of the firemen and police officers. Thank y'all. And then I do want to have a request now that your feet are going and you're in your new position, Chief, if we could go ahead and work either toward the end of April or beginning of May before the summer starts to set up our Safe City Task Force meeting. First one, so with you as the new chief. Okay, thank you so much. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Alderman Davis.
Also, would like to thank the fire chief and the police chief on the great job what their people did. And also, they forgot to put the new fireman on the agenda. We want to pin him today right now. Bring the new firefighter up. They graduated, so he get pinned, man.
Well,
So he
wonderful. I have been noticing him out there and saying thank you.
So good evening. This is firefighter Ferris Promise. He is our latest graduate from the State Fire Academy. It's been taking a while to kind of get everything in. So now that we've received his badge and since he's graduated, I'd like for the mayor and aldermen to present him with his official fire department badge.
And then again, so thank you. Our respect. And so it's my pleasure. I'm not going to get me out of here. I'm not going to do like that because we got to take care of you. And let's see. There's supposed to be a place where it goes right on through, Chief. Where is it? Come on, Chief. Help me out. I don't want to get him. There we go. I got it. Such a pleasure being able to do this. And also, Ferris is here.
There you go, perfect. Here we go. One more.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. One more.
What's a reverse?
Yeah, this I just want. There you go. And also, on April the 25th, Miss Williams came, told us about the workforce development brief, and she mentioned about the high school scholar reverse career fair, which will be on April the 25th from 9 to 12, which the high school people they come over there from Natchez High, ACCS Cathedral, and the NECA, and they will participate, and they will be prepping them for the next 3 weeks for this fair, and then also the industry from the surrounding industry, they'll be there, and they will be hiring some of them students from this reverse job fair. So that's one way we're trying to keep when they graduate, trying to keep them back in the community so they can work here. That ends my report.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Alderman Dillard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Yes, Alderwoman Paul?
I would just like to offer condolences to the family of Mrs. Ethel Banton, who did die at her residence, Hope Farm, this past weekend. And also to the fireman who was injured, to him and his family for continued healing.
Thank you
Ms.
so much.
Banton was a pillar of the community, she's a past president also of the Historic Natchez Foundation.
Yes. Thank you.
Mayor, I did wanna add-
Yes, Alderwoman
She
Smith.
was my stepfather's first cousin, so it's
Oh,
a
sorry
great
to hear
loss. Amazing woman.
She definitely was. And our prayers go out to that family and all of her friends. And as long as we're on this subject, I will never forget during the ice storm, her kindness to me as she patiently waited for power to be restored. She was at the end of a main line, so she was one of the last houses restored to power during that ice storm. And I kept checking on her every day and asking her to just come over to the house. I've got a room for you, and I've got 4-wheel drive. We'll get you out. She said she was just fine, sitting in her recliner, wearing her ski suit. And I told her, they don't make them like you anymore, Miss Ethel. We will forever miss her. We certainly. We now will recognize the city clerk for her report.
Thank you. First item I have is a request for approval of the 2nd March 2023 claims docket.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Yes. I
Yes,
have a
Alderman
couple
Frazier.
questions. On this claim docket, the AJIC, what is that for? A donation?
Well, these are payments.
Okay.
So where,
AJIC Community Action Agency.
okay, do you know which, you're on the mini claims
Okay.
docket.
Okay, you're in the big one.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that
Okay.
question in a moment. Any other discussion?
Call for the question.
Okay,
Second.
okay. The question has been called. Anyone opposed to the call? We'll proceed then to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Okay, next item is request for approval of the 2nd March 2023 mini claims docket.
What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Dillard, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Dillard.
I was just noticing the travel expenses for the workforce development. It just seems rather large. I'm not sure what all was involved there. $2,383.
Well, this was a year's worth of her travel expenses that were being paid by Natchez Inc. And they waited and accumulated and submitted for a reimbursement as one payment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Further discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman.
I had that down too,
Frazier.
but,
Yes, the
Yeah.
AJFC
Yeah.
payment, that was an ad that was taken out
Okay.
in the program for the gala.
okay, 18,674. It say deed collector.
So that is the cemetery funds that are deposited with the city each month. And then the following month, by the 5th of the month, we cut those monies back to the cemetery for operations out there.
Why
So-
have deed collector?
That was money that was collected for sale of cemetery deeds.
Oh,
out of
okay,
Natchez
okay,
Cemetery.
okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Any further questions?
Call the question.
Second.
The question's been called. Anyone opposed to the call? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item.
Yes, my final item is request for approval of the interfund transfers.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Dillard.
Again, it's on this list, correct? And that's.
Yes, the spreadsheet, and it's just the one that was the bond proceeds for the convention center, the Series B Convention Center Complex bond. This was the transfer to Trustmark with Trinity Investment.
Just when you said transfers with an S on the end, I want to
Oh,
make sure
sorry.
that it's
Yeah, no,
what's supposed
the
to
one
be.
transfer.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And the good news is we're already making significant interest from that investment. So that's very good news. Thank you. That concludes your report?
That is it, but
Thank you.
gotta finish that vote.
Oh, gosh. You know, I tell you, I'm a little fatigued from all this travel and everything else. Bear with me. The question's been called. Any opposed to the call will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries.
That concludes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Dillon.
now you have the opportunity to break that 90-minute mark right here.
You got that, dude?
Hey, let's get it done. But we do have executive session, it looks like. Mr. Callaway, or we may not? We may not. We don't?
Uh-oh.
So, I'm about to break your record, Alderman Dillon.
That's right, and I skipped over half.
We, the city attorney,
That's a first.
Not Ashburn, but I do have one matter, Mr. Mayor.
so we are going to delay Ashburn Woods. I hope we can get it done next time. What's your other item, Mr. Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, it was brought to my attention that on May 11th, 2021, this board approved the tax abatement program.
Yes.
When the clerk recorded that in the minutes, and I think Rico drafted it, they left the date of 2020 on there. We need to correct that Scrivener's error. Scrivener's error because normally it would have been written in the old days, it's typed in, to reflect the correct year of adoption, which would have been 2021. And that is item number 209:521 in the May 11th, 2021 minutes. And we need to reflect that this board adopted the correction today in those minutes. So we need a motion to that effect. And we also need to authorize the clerk to correct this in MuniCode, which is the online source that publishes these ordinances. And I've talked to Alderman Smith about this, so she may
Mr.
have the
Mayor.
correct motion for us.
Okay.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
I make the motion that the board resolve and order the clerk to correct the Scrivener's error in the ordinance to amend the existing tax abatement program for the renovation of real properties within the central business zoning district or historic districts and historic landmark site for related purposes that was adopted by the mayor and board of aldermen on May 11th, 2021, so that the ordinance reflects the correct year of adoption, 2021, and ordering the clerk to make the notation in the minutes of the May 11th, 2021, referring anyone searching our minutes to the minutes of this meeting on March 28th, 2023 as follows. Sorry, you all, it takes a minute for this. The tax abatement ordinance adopted on May 11th, 2021 contained a Scrivener's error and referenced the wrong year of adoption. By resolution, order contained in the minutes of the May 28th, 2023 meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, the Scrivener's error was ordered to be corrected and the true year of adoption reflected in the ordinance. And further, the clerk is directed to contact the MuniCode and make arrangements necessary to reflect the correct year of adoption on the subject ordinance.
Second.
All right, motion has been made and properly seconded, made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion on the motion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
Second.
We'll ask, is anyone opposed to the call? Hearing none, we will proceed to the vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Attorney, that concludes your report.
It does, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. On my report, I do want to give an update on my Washington trip. Normally there'd be pictures to show. I haven't had time to post any pictures. I was in Washington from last Tuesday to Sunday afternoon. And I left the National League of Cities. I got on the plane and arrived back home here in Natchez somewhere around 1 a.m. Monday morning, and still had to put in a day Monday, and it has been nonstop. So that I haven't had time to post any pictures, but I did take quite a few. And I will post them soon along with a full update. But I will say that last week was on a 1 to 10, it was a 15. It was, I believe, one of the most productive trips I've ever been able to make to our nation's capital. We were able to, and when I say we, I was very proud to be there with my friend Warren Gaines, the president of the Adams County Board of Supervisors. And together, working together, President Gaines and I, along with Scott Slover, and along with our lobbyist, Greg Harper, had some very good meetings with Senators Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde Smith. That was the first half of the trip. And we talked about so many things. And then we were able to follow up. Congressman Harper had to return to Mississippi, but President Gaines, myself, Scott Slover, and also Deborah Fontaine, Mr. Purnell, who is in Washington, and Mr. Lee Jackson, an attorney in Washington who actually is from Natchez and a graduate of Sadie V. Thompson, and said to tell everyone hello, including you, Alderman Frazier.
That's my college roommate.
And he is a wonderful man, and he accompanied us to the visit. He also is a direct descendant of the U.S., one of the U.S. colored troop members. And of course, we all know that Ms. Fontaine is a descendant of 9. We had a very good meeting with Congressman Thompson. It was actually one of the longest meetings I've ever had with a public official, lasting almost an hour and a half. We got into some very in-depth discussion on a number of topics, and I will forever be grateful to Congressman Thompson for investing that time with us. It was also a pleasure while being in Washington to meet a staff person for Congressman Thompson, who is from Natchez, Mr. Noah Harris. Mr. Noah Harris actually is the grandson of Don Gordon, and I plan to have some pictures to show you. But Noah was the first African American to serve as student body president at Harvard University. He's someone we can take great pride in. Let me tell you some of the issues that we discussed with the senators and also with Congressman Thompson. We requested, together with the county, $1 million for a new fire truck to service the Natchez Adams Airport, much needed to satisfy the requirements of commercial air carriers we are recruiting to Natchez. We also requested a little over $1 million for important drainage improvements to areas of South Natchez that are experiencing major issues between Rolling Wood and Highland Boulevard, and also in the Glenwood subdivision. This is in addition to almost $3 million we are requesting this week from the Mississippi legislature to address areas in the Concord and West Steers Lane areas, and also in Roselawn. And those funding requests are pending right now in Jackson, and we're waiting to see. Our most significant ask was for helps with the Forks of Freedom Raise Grant application, a $10.5 million ask, which will bring significant improvements to an area in North Natchez that needs attention. Beginning at the Highway 61 flyover, this project will improve the gateway to Devereux Drive and downtown Natchez by improvements to signage, landscaping, and lighting in that area. Also included will be improvements to the area that includes forks of the road, paving of St. Catherine and East Franklin streets, and the development of Hiram Revels Plaza at the Triangle at North Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street, Jefferson Street, and St. Catherine Street. Also, I just want to say Congressman Thompson's office reached out late in the evening, on Thursday evening, and asked us to also submit an earmark request for this same project, which we completed at 1:30 in the morning on Friday morning. And then with my executive assistant's help, Richard Burke, by noon on Friday, we also delivered 20 letters of community support for the Forks of Freedom Park. And Mr. Purnell, I haven't made this public yet, but we also asked Congressman Thompson's office, and his office agreed, his chief of staff agreed on Friday to also include funding for development of a park area on the north end of the bluff to commemorate our U.S. colored troops. We put $1 million into the earmark request for that. Now, we won't know until the fall. If we get that, we won't know until later this year if we get the raised grant. But we are we're cooking with 2 burners instead of 1, and we are powering with 2 engines instead of 1. Surely, one way or another, all of this will happen. I want to say it's a real pleasure. I'm going to preface this by saying I have a long-standing friendship with Congressman Michael Guest. And during the time he was our congressman, he was always there. He was always available to me via cell phone. And we continue to communicate because we are friends. But I also want to say I am very proud now that Congressman Thompson is our congressman. And I'm very grateful for the time that he spent with us, time that's very precious to a congressman, and the fact that he took such time and that his staff invested such time, even talking to me at 10:30 p.m. on Thursday evening, which is unheard of for a congressman's chief of staff. Dr. Timla Washington is a true lady, a true public servant, and I will always be grateful for that opportunity to work with her. So I just wanted to give that report. I said a lot more than is in my official report. I do have to say this. We could tell that Chandler Russ had been there the week before. Our senators are hard at work on some issues regarding some future economic development and future employment in Natchez. We look forward to some great announcements soon. Also, gosh, Alderman Dillard, I got to wrap this up. I've got a little more time. Justin Wilson, you may think that he's the legend from Louisiana folklore, but actually, the Justin Wilson I met with, the Honorable Justin Wilson, is the mayor of Alexandria, Virginia. And on Thursday afternoon, I was able to tour that historic city to learn more about what they've been doing for the last 20 years to tell their African American history. Included was a tour of the Freedman Contraband Cemetery in Alexandria. This is a sacred site that contains the graves of of so many former slaves, freedmen, and slaves, but also was at one time a resting place of over 100 U.S. colored troops who now have been disinterred there and reinterred at the National Cemetery in Alexandria just recently. Up until about 10 years ago, this cemetery, known by all to exist, was covered over by a service station, a Domino's pizza place, and office buildings. And activists in the community over 10 years ago brought pressure on city government to correct it. They have. They bought the site. They cleared the site. It now has a monument to those who are buried there. Bronze plaques that have the names of every person. It's a sacred site. We also toured the Freedom House Museum. I'd never heard of this museum, but it is a place where, sadly, during the antebellum days, slave traders Isaac Franklin and John Armfield, early proprietors of Forks of the Road slave market, set up shop in this Alexandria location. And it was a place where, sadly, these slaves were jailed and from there then transferred ultimately to Natchez. There is a very sad but very historic connection between Alexandria, Virginia, and Natchez, Mississippi. We want to do more to tell the story of that connection. But I want to say this publicly as a salute to the people of Alexandria. Alexandria is a very historic city, the hometown of our nation's first president, George Washington. It also is a city that has an African American population, according to the census, of right at 21%. And yet they've been telling this story now for going on and working on this story for 20 years. It is an inspiration and should be an inspiration to the people of Natchez that a city not forced to do so by political pressures, but only doing so because it's the right thing to do, can be an example to us. And I'll always be grateful for the time spent with Mayor Wilson.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. McCullen is also a descendant of 2 U.S. colored troops.
Really? Wow. Well, we salute the service of your ancestors. And we look forward, and Mr. Purnell, thank you for all of your hard work and congratulations on a unanimous decision by the Preservation Commission, pending a few alterations for the locating of that monument on the northern lobe. Thank you. I do want to wrap this up by saying we had a great visit with a lot of mayors at the National League of Cities Congressional Conference. That is where Alderwoman Irving is now, and we appreciate Alderwoman Irving being there. Over 3,000 municipal leaders from all over the country converged on Washington this weekend, discussing a range of topics from infrastructure to housing, crime prevention, to economic development. It was inspiring to hear success stories of how so many towns and cities use American Rescue Plan monies to fight and come back after the COVID pandemic. And we salute the NLC for leading the charge in getting these billions of federal dollars directly appropriated to local municipalities. It was a very successful Washington trip, and I want to encourage all who are hearing this to reach out to Senator Wicker, to Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, and also to Congressman Thompson, and thank them for what they're doing for Natchez. I do want to mention this. We don't have to have a decision, but I do want to ask that you as a board would consider increasing the sponsorship for the fireworks for the 4th of July. It has come to our attention that Vidalia has already, as of New Year's, increased their pledge from $2,500 to $5,000. The cost of the show is increasing, and it's important that the New Year's fireworks show and the July 4th fireworks show continue to be a success. If you want to make a motion tonight, you can. If you want to take it under advisement, you can. But I do believe we should be matching our neighbor across the river, Vidalia, in the level of sponsorship.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Dillard has made the motion. Alderman Davis has seconded that motion. Any discussion? We'll call for the question. Call. Anyone opposed to the call? In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. We can't let Vidalia show us up. A brief update on code enforcement. I'm very grateful for the work that's been going on. Our new code enforcement officer has been trained in Jackson, along with my executive assistant, Richard Burke, and also Jackie Azell, who is providing clerical support on behalf of City Hall. We are thankful to the Mississippi Municipal League for offering that training, along with attorney for the league, Troy Johnston. We now have in place, as of tonight, an online portal that we want the aldermen to use and citizens to use in reporting infractions. And so, Mr. Hinkle, thank you for getting this done. The website has so much on it, and there's so much there that we're excited about. He's scrolling down, and we're going to be sharing this link. We're going to be sharing a Facebook post very soon. And there it is, City of Natchez Regulation Reporting Portal. Click here to report potential city regulation violations. And if we'll click on that, there's the portal. You'll scroll down and there's information to be entered. That information then is emailed to City Hall. A record then will begin on that property and that violation. And code enforcement will use this to track problems.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
were the records that are already in place before our new code enforcement officer came into being and before this was instituted, be uploaded into this?
Oh,
There should be a record.
this information will eventually be downloaded into a spreadsheet.
No.
And we already have an active spreadsheet that's being worked.
Okay, okay, that's what I want to know.
Yes.
What's already been reported will.
Everything we reported some today. Every day we get reports and we send those on out.
Not just today, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, going back, we have the list.
Okay.
We have the list. This is for reporting this day forward.
Okay.
Rather than using the phone, we're going to encourage aldermen and, you see, I get these by text message, by Facebook message, by email, and this is going to make it a more expedited delivery system. Just go to our website under Citizen Services, enter the appropriate information, be sure to enter the address, other information, and then it will go immediately to Jackie Azell, who is performing clerical support for this program. Yes, Alderwoman Smith.
Just down the road, I mean, I know there's a lot to handle right now, but this will be a great way to do the same thing for lights and for animal control issues.
It most definitely will. We'll
So
get to work on
citizens can
that.
do their own reporting too.
Speaking of animal control, we have been meeting with the Humane Society Board. I thank Alderwoman Smith for being with me at a meeting just a month ago. The good news is that the Humane Society has purchased property in a building adjacent to their current location. Mr. Burke will be there tomorrow with individuals with the Humane Society looking at the building, developing a punch list of what is needed at the building in order for it to become a facility dedicated to the city's use. We also want to invite the county if they would like to invest so that it would be available for the county's use. We know that the sheriff gets many reports. We'd like to make this available for the county as well. We will then look at what the money situation is. We will bring that to you, and then we'll go from there. But I just want you to know that a solution is in the works. And we also have now, because we are about to have this opportunity, we are going to be advertising. We are advertising for another animal control officer. This board budgeted for 2 positions. It is important that we have someone who can work evenings, weekends, that we have shifts that alternate. So just know that that is in the future. We've been hearing the public outcry. We're working on it. Alderman Dillard, I don't know if I'm going to meet your record or not. I'm trying. I do want to let you know, we have, and we will take action on this at the next meeting because we don't want to just railroad this past you. But this is a bidding of trash collection. Not trash collection. This, we are coming up on May 1st will be the expiration of our disposal contract for the disposal of trash that is collected in the city. And so we are very close to putting this out for bid. Alderman Frazier, I would like to ask you to just please study this along with your committee members. And by our next board meeting, we already have the bid language that we've used in the past. We can use the same. These options actually come out of that language. There were a number of options provided at the last bidding for pickup of trash and options for recycling pickup. We also are going to provide an option for once a week or twice a week. And we also are providing here something a little different, an option 7, which would be disposal services for any of the above listed options, that is our trash collection option, separately from the trash pickup contract, and an option 8, which is disposal services included with the trash pickup. So in other words, we can price it and get alternate bids in to see if it would save the city money to go once a week versus twice a week, or to continue doing trash collection, a separate company, disposal, a separate company, or having an option where one company does both trash collection and disposal. So it's complicated. It's a lot of options to get us what we hope will be some good bids to look. Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, what are the dates on here? Because 1 through 6 say the commencing date is May 1st, 2024, and option 6 and 7, May 1st, 2023.
Our disposal contract expires at the end of April, midnight, May 1st, 2023. Our disposal service. Our collection service does not expire for another year, midnight, May 1st, 2024. And so the disposal services will have to begin on May 1st for an option of 4 years. And the pickup is actually going to commence on May 1st, 2024 for a period of 3 years. That will then get them on the same rotation going forward. And we are allowed to bid out our collection a year in advance to allow enough time for staging, getting equipment, trucks, personnel in place.
Quick question.
Alderwoman Smith had her hand up. Okay, Alderman Frazier.
Okay, we're gonna have a committee meeting with the members of
Alderman Frazier, it would probably be advisable for you to call a committee meeting to discuss this in more detail.
Yeah, but
And especially look at these options in more detail.
this is, I just want to ask this quick question. The question I like to ask is, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna have a public hearing on, when we get ready to do trash or what?
Right now, just to have the bid, a public hearing is not required.
Okay.
But I would say that this board will have to approve a bid in our next meeting to stay on track. Understanding this comes up May 1st. So I would encourage you, if you could, have a meeting of your committee no later than middle of next week.
Okay.
Okay. Alderwoman Smith?
What is the advertisement requirements for this? Is there anything time-wise?
I would have to look it up.
We
and
need to
see.
look that up
Yeah.
and then we need to see how long our last one was out for the RP. 'Cause
Okay.
We got to hustle.
We gotta hustle. And if we have to have a special call meeting, we
can do
will.
that.
I would encourage us to look at perhaps a committee meeting for next Monday.
No,
Alderman Frazier?
I don't have
That gives us
anything.
time
I don't
to
have
prepare
anything.
for
I
it.
don't have anything. Next Monday be good.
Next Monday? Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll confirm the time with
Time, yeah,
everyone
okay.
and we'll send a notice out. It will be a public meeting.
Public meeting.
And I have been told because of our internet capabilities at City Hall now, we can have the committee meeting there. And it can be made available online from the conference room. And we do have, room in there if someone wants to come and sit in there, but it'll be an open meeting. People can watch online. All right. And I want to also thank the public. And we get input. We learn just along with everyone else. I know I haven't broken the record, but I want to say I'm so glad that we are getting better with our transparency, with our open meetings. Look forward to having that. I've got to get this out of the way. It's just important for y'all to know these next couple items. City Hall, the restoration is almost complete of the of the downstairs and the public spaces. If you haven't seen the hardwood floors, it's a transformed building. We're excited. We had a meeting with the architect today. We are very close to finalizing the punch list sheets for the board to approve for the $3 million renovation of the convention center, the $2 million renovation of the auditorium, which I want you to be prepared may have to be a little more than $2 million, and the $300,000 renovation of the Civic Center. The committee has been meeting that the architect put together, and they are very close to having 3 final lists for us to consider on those 3 projects. And at that point, we would then be ready to bid projects. Also, we will very soon, I hope, be bidding the golf clubhouse, and we are also in the final stages of restoration to the North Natchez Youth Center. We met today with the VFW. We are proceeding with working toward having that contract. They are ready to commence work and move in to the canteen building. So we had that meeting with them. We're working on it. This is the last thing that I'm going to say. We are very saddened to see that one of Mississippi's cities has almost been annihilated, wiped off the map. And our hearts go out to the people of Rolling Fork. I want to commend Mr. Bradford, who on behalf of our city has been on the ground there since Saturday. And he has provided to me a list of items. That list, these are items that are critically needed. And I want to thank the public for their generous response. We will continue to collect these items in the morning, and the items then will be loaded on the truck being furnished by Darby's.
Can you post what they're?
And I'm about to. And at 11 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be making my way to Rolling Fork along with Dennis Short and the individuals with Darby's who have donated the use of the truck. These are the items we're going to be delivering. New pillows, new blankets, insect repellent, sunscreen, lip balm, Gatorade, sports drinks, and also flashlights and batteries. A lot of items have been brought to them. They have a lot of water. They have a lot of food. And more is coming. Dr. Myers here in Natchez is working on a delivery of an 18-wheeler load that will be loaded here in Natchez over the course of this weekend. I understand that Jarita Fraser King is working on some outreach and meal preparation programs. But they are in scorching heat. There are no more trees. There's no more shade in Rolling Fork. And that is why sunscreen and sports drinks that have the ability to keep that, and hats. Hadn't even thought about that, but hats would really, we didn't put that on the list, but hats are needed.
Mr. Mayor, the
Yes.
media has reported they need baby formula.
I have not heard that,
That's
but
been on
I'm
the-
sure
that's been
that
on the
anything
media.
that anyone wants to donate will
Miss-
be gladly accepted.
Mr. Mayor,
Baby formula. Yes, Alderman.
I'm glad you,
When is the truck from Darby's? Because the bank, our employees have collected a lot of stuff from all of our branches.
We plan to leave around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the final collection, I know the police, fire have been collecting. Where will we load the truck? At both locations?
Yes.
So we'll probably start at the fire station, and then we'll go from there to the police station. So then we get right on the road and head to Rolling Fork.
Mr. Mayor,
So we'll be at the fire station at 11, I would say at 10:45, and the police department at 11.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
Like I said, the media reporting conflicting. The stuff that we are taking and what everybody else taking from out of the country, sending to Rolling Fork. Right now they're saying hold up because they don't have anywhere to store a lot of stuff. But this is what they really need, according to the media. They said that they need gift cards. So if we can send, if you can get, if people want to donate, you can go to Walmart and buy a gift card and they will issue them out. That was because.
Great,
So
great. Gift
that's-
cards, okay.
yeah, gift cards.
Gift cards. But Mr. Bradford especially said these items because these are critically needed in the weather conditions.
I'll be there, Sarah.
Just
Alderman?
one quick little thing. I
Yeah.
know if people do, they do need money too. The United Way, is it West Mississippi or Central Mississippi?
Yes.
There
is a website, and I understand there is an online contribution portal there.
There, on United Ways, there are United Way in Mississippi, and if you Google it, you can see it, and it says you just you earmark it for road board area.
All right. I would like our minutes to reflect when we make our motion to adjourn, that we adjourn in honor of those many victims of this weekend's horrific events, to include Ethel Banta and to include those individuals in the Delta who lost their life Friday night.
So moved.
The motion's made by
Second.
Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. Any discussion? We'll call for the question.
Call.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much. We came close, Alderman Dillon.
No, not by my.